Hey gang, you know what time it is? That's right, it is noon, so it's time to drop another cheap comic collector video. And we do one every day at noon, and this is episode number 144. And today we're going to go through some Richie Rich books. If you've been watching for a while, you remember that box I got that was all Richie Rich. Short box of nothing but Richie Rich comics. So I got to read these sooner or later. So once in a while, I'm going to squeeze in one of these episodes where I take a look at these. So first off, we got Richie Rich number 106 from 1971. I was 4 years old when this came out. And pretty neat cover. We got Richie Rich in the tub with while he watches Casper on TV. So that's pretty neat. He's got cake and water to drink while he's in the tub, which is insane. But there we go. Got a free giant Stalin mural full color masterpiece that you can get. All 4 prints for $1. And starts off with a Richie Rich one-page gag where him and his girlfriend Gloria are going on a picnic. She's afraid of ants, and so big parade of ants come along, but they're actually robots that Richie is controlling. So that was a weird little gag. And speaking of weird, check out this calendar, man. Groovy. Love, fun, joy, and peace. And a whole lot of Harvey characters. And so that was their calendar for 1971. Is that what I said it was? Yeah, 1971. Very cool. So, first story, Richie Rich and Protective Gloria. Gloria calls Richie. She wants him to accompany her to a rough part of town where she visits her aunt. And Richie says he's going to send his robot lookalike instead. And so this thing shows up, and they're going around together, and Gloria doesn't want the robot to get damaged, so she keeps protecting the robot instead of the robot protecting her. And it continues for a little bit, and then of course there wasn't really a robot. It was Richie just pretending to be a robot, but then so he thinks he fooled her, but she knew all along that it was him. So it's kind of a cute little story, nothing special. And then there's a one-page gag with Irona the robot, or Irna the robot, I'm not sure which. She's got this cute little red dress number on, so this must have been a pretty early appearance for her. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Because I don't remember her wearing anything like that in the comics I read. And then there's also this one-pager where, for some reason, there's this kind of mean kid over at Richie's house. He's going to try and steal his piggy bank, but it turns out to be a real pig with just markings that make it look like a piggy bank. So it scares him. And then Richie and Reggie are having a kite flying contest. And of course, Reggie keeps trying to cheat. And he actually has a pretty cool invention where he has a fan that he sends up the string to blow the kite stronger. And I thought that was kind of a neat idea, actually, because with how small fans and stuff are now, you could actually do that. I don't know if you could create enough wind where it would fly a kite, but that's not that far-fetched with today's technology. So that was kind of neat. And anyway, it gets so, the kite goes up so high that it's lifting Reggie off the ground, and so Richie grabs him, and it lifts both of them, and then Richie cuts the string and they fall, and Reggie basically says that Richie cheated because he cut the string, even though he saved them. So got some Harvey ads, and then The little Dot story is little Dot, this is her room, and she sets out to find some new dots because, she doesn't have enough dots. So she keeps going around town and finding dots. People are basically littering the town with dots, and she's collecting all of them. And meanwhile, you see this cop constantly watching her everywhere she goes and following her around. So she gets all done, and she bumps into the cop and spills all of them. And then so he hauls her into the police station, and they basically, thank her for cleaning up the town and so on and so forth. And they throw all her dots in the garbage. So didn't get any new dots that day. Got a couple one-page text stories. And then little Lotta is being chased around from this other kid, and she thinks he wants to be her boyfriend, but she already has a boyfriend. So she keeps trying to discourage him. They play baseball, and she's really good and strong, and then it ends up with her basically eventually telling the kid off that she doesn't want a boyfriend, and he's like, boyfriend? I don't want a girlfriend, I want a big brother. So anyway, that was the end of that issue. Apparently the earlier Richie Rich's, he was just in the main story, and then they had a little Dot and a little Lotta backup. So Richie Rich was my entry drug into the addictive world of comic books, and back in the day, and the ones I got were from late 70s, 80s, and I don't remember being hardly any. I don't remember seeing little Dot or little Lotta, really even knowing who they were. By the time I started buying them, Richie had taken over and was everywhere, and with a gazillion different magazines. So anyway, next up we got Richie Rich Dollars and Cents, 1973, number 55. Simple cover where his parachute is a humongous dollar bill. And they have a new housekeeper that is a clean nut. She's driving all the staff nuts by making everything tidy and making sure they don't litter at all, even the simplest of things. This is kind of a standard story for Harvey that they went back to a few times. I remember reading stories like this where they had some character that was just over the top with their defining trait that drove everybody nuts. And this character here, this is actually Chef Pierre. That's his name. So this must be an early version of Chef Pierre before they decided what he was going to look like. That is his name. So I assume it's supposed to be the same character. And anyway, they come up with a way. This guy, who is some scientist or something in the employ of the Riches, and he comes up with a way to convince her not to be so naggy about everything and be kind of mean to people. So, and then we got a little Dot, one page gag that was kind of cute, and another one that was just silly. And then Richie Rich in the Disappearing Butler. This guy's some kind of wacko inventor. He's developed potions that shrink stuff, and then an antidote that enlarges it back again. Reggie swipes the bottle that shrinks stuff, and he puts it into Cadbury's hair tonic, which shrinks Cadbury down and down. And Richie actually gets mad and yells at Reggie in this one. So, and then Cadbury gets, picked up by a dog, and the dog's running away with him. And then he spits him out, and Richie has to rescue him. And then it gets interrupted for a couple one-pagers where this lady burglar breaks in to the Rich estate, and she's going to rob all the jewels, and then, but she catches herself because she decides she's going to wear them, and they're so heavy that she can't move. And then there's a dog that wants a bone from Little Lotta, but he doesn't get it because she eats the whole thing. And then it's back to Cadbury being small. Richie realizes what happened and basically is going to beat it out of Reggie, what's going on. And so they get a hold of the other stuff and they put that on Cadbury, but that makes him grow, so now he's huge. And they eventually figure out the right mixture, and he ends up spanking Reggie while he's still relatively large. And then this was kind of a cute little Lotta gag here. They're choosing up teams for baseball, and whoever picks Lotta is going to win because she's so strong, and so the other kid doesn't want to play anymore. So they make her play with both hands tied behind her back, and she still hits home runs, so with her mouth. And then Richie, Freckles, and Pee-wee uses the dad's money to make paper airplanes. And then, let's see, there's another little Lotta weightlifting gag, which is seems to be a recurring theme. And this one, little Lotta, the doctor gives her reducing pills. So she starts eating these pills anytime she gets hungry, and then she's eaten so many pills that she gains 10 pounds. And the little Dot story, the main little Dot story, was actually pretty good. Her one uncle is a spy, and she gets involved with a spy agent at an amusement park. And of course, there's a Richie Rich text story here also. And then, so yeah, she's at the amusement park. She's getting chased. She's trying to give the briefcase that her uncle gave her to give to this guy that's also on the merry-go-round. This guy's chasing her, but she's actually confused. The guy in the merry-go-round is the bad agent, and the guy that's chasing them is the good agent. But eventually it gets straightened out. And then there's a little Lotta story where she dreams about going to a candy land where she causes a lot of trouble because she keeps eating everything. And here's the Harvey calendar for this year, 1973. And yeah, so she's and it's all a dream. So she gets really big, and then she falls out of bed and wakes up and starts eating. But instead of eating candy, she's eating like a ham or something. And then little Dot decides the way she's going to celebrate Dots today is she's going to only eat things that look like dots. So she eats cookies, and she eats a blueberry pie. And then she's so fat that she becomes a huge dot herself. And that's the end. Ta-da! Alrighty. Next up, Richie Rich Gems. 1976, number 11. Apparently Richie is so lucky that when it's snowing, he just gets hit in the head with gemstones. Crazy man. And we have the 1976 Harvey calendar. And let's see, in this one, they're trying to move Richie's mom's extra gems, but nothing is strong enough to handle the weight. So the dump truck breaks down, it sinks into the sand, they try to use a helicopter, and it rips out the bottom. And they try to shoot it out of a cannon, and it misses and crashes into a ice cream shop or something, and they have to reward them, so they just let them keep the jewels. And so they finally get the idea of inviting Mrs. Rich's club members out to to wear them to wherever they're supposed to go, and she just decides to give them all away. So all these ladies show up and get blinged out. And let's see, there's a little dot gag, which I'm not going to go over, but it's okay. Sad Sack in a Twinkies commercial. And a Professor Keen Bean appearance, where he's invented this thing, but then is scared to get too close to it to shut it off because it goes nuts and it's twirling tables around and coat racks and so on and so forth. But it gets handsy with Arona, so she teaches it a lesson and ties it in a knot. And you have some Carvey ads. And then you have a made of money story. So this might be like when they started kind of converting to all Richie Rich stories, because instead of having a little Lotta or a little dot strip in the back, it becomes a supporting characters, in the Rich, from the Richie Rich stories. So made of money, in case you're not aware, is a girl that's interested in Richie Rich. She doesn't like Gloria, so she's basically Gloria's rival for Richie's attentions. Basically because she wants his money. That's all it is. So, she decides to combine a whole bunch of perfumes to grab Richie's attention, and then she gets chased by a bunch of bugs. So she goes back home and gets a shower, changes clothes, and tries another perfume, but it smells, and Richie's allergic to it. And Richie never sees any of this. He doesn't even know she's there. He's just downwind of her. And then she finds out he likes the smell of popcorn. So she pays $50,000 because she's rich already also. Just not as rich as Richie. And to have popcorn flavored or perfume that smells like popcorn. So now she's wearing that, and then everywhere she goes, people start wanting popcorn. So the kids are chasing her because they think she has popcorn, and that was the end of the story. So it was a little funny. Yeah, it was enjoyable. And another Richie Rich text story, and then we have Richie's cousin Penny Van Doe. So this would be the little sister of Reggie. And I completely forgot about this character. She was in some issues when I was growing up. I remember the character. But if you had told me, before I turned this page, that Reggie had a little sister, I would have completely forgot about it. But then as soon as I saw the name, I remembered. And so this one's kind of cute. It's just her and her mom, basically, and a couple other babies. And they keep escaping. She's clever, so she's using poles for them to jumpstart their baby carriages downhill, and the women have to go chasing after them. And then so they put them in this big pen, and they escape and go into the house, and robbers break into the house, and now these people are rich too, because it's the Van Does. So this is Richie's cousins. So the babies hide under the bed when the burglars come in, and then start crying and scare the burglars. And then the moms come in and basically chase them away. And it's just a cute story. And then you got a couple more ads, and that's it. And then the last one, Richie Rich Money World from 1973. This is issue number 4. It's got this cool cover of Richie's mansion being overflowed with money and him running away. And this is actually from the story inside, which was a surprise. I thought it was just a gag cover. And unfortunately, this is an incomplete issue. This one does not have the centerfold. Looking at GDC, the Grand Comics database, it looks like all the story pages are here. So I think the centerfold was probably just advertisements. Everything that's listed in GDC is in here. So even though there's 4 pages missing, it looks like it was just advertisements. So, but I still wish I had a complete issue, because actually the Harvey ads are pretty cool most of the time. Let's see. Yeah, so the first one is a 1-page gag, which is what most of the Harveys start out with. And Richie wants to buy this store, so in a poor neighborhood, so the kids can have a clubhouse. And of course the realtors are like, yeah, right, kid, come back with cash. And so he does. And then Richie Rich Pocket Money starts off with him running away from the ice cream man and leaving her with a ruby because he forgot his money. He doesn't have any money. So he runs back home, comes back by helicopter so that he can pay the ice cream man. And then he's afraid he's going to be forgetful. So his scientists that work for the Riches invent a way for him to never be out of petty cash. So he's got a money clip that actually transports money from the vault, from his pocket change vault or whatever they're calling it. With just a click of his money clip, he's got instant money. So, and then, everything looks like it'll be fine, and then things go terribly wrong. And so basically any pocket that he has, his entire closet, starts producing money from the vault because it's transporting all their vault. And this is where the scene comes in where they have to escape the mansion. It shows Richie and Cadbury running out of the mansion because it's overflowing with cash. And then I wanted to showcase this art a little bit. Take a look at Cadbury's face there. Not quite typical of the Richie art. Very, very, very well done. Very, very well done. And then we got a little dot gag where she's drawing on fences. And then another Richie Rich kite flying gag where there's no wind, so he calls in a helicopter to produce wind for him. And then Richie Rich is playing on the football team. This might be the earliest story I've ever seen where he's not wearing his outfit. He's actually wearing his football uniform because he's on the football team. And one of the other kids is distracted, so they're talking, and turns out his dad's having money problems. They have a paint store, so he goes home and convinces his parents that they should paint the mansion, so they end up ordering 10,000 of every color from the paint store, and predictable endings. So, and then in this next one, this is where the centerfold is missing, which would have been just ads, I guess. Richie invents this robotic bug which can't be caught, and it's some kind of prototype for a toy. And so Cadbury's chasing it, Pierre's chasing it, and the mother thinks it's chasing her, and anyway, eventually Richie opens the door so it can go outside, because now they've called in an exterminator to kill it. And it ends up on a rocket missile that's going to the moon. And so it ends with there's Casper on TV once again, and then they interrupt that the astronauts have discovered life on the moon, and there it is. It's the robotic bug that can't be caught until its batteries die down. And then there's another Richie text story, and then an Irona story where she is on a mission for Mr. Rich to deliver a briefcase full of money to Europe, but the plane gets hijacked, so she has to stop the hijackers and save the day. So anyway, cool stuff. Oh, and then that's something else too. At the end of the story, all the people on the plane are like, well, what else can you do? Because she's done such amazing stuff. So she's going to show them that she can play the piano. And of course, they're all sitting around singing the Casper song of What You Doing on the Moon, which, of course, on the next page is the record ad for What You Doing on the Moon. So, marketing, yeah, there you go. All right, so that's it. Those are the 4 issues. They were fun. I enjoyed them. I don't care if you like them or not. They were fun. I enjoyed them, and they all had pretty good stuff in them for Harvey's. You know, I mean, yeah, it's designed for little kids, but you can appreciate that, especially when you read them when you were a kid. So good stuff. I'm not really going to pick out a favorite issue. They were all okay. I mean, the Money World one, you know, it's got that cool cover and the nice Cadbury portrait there inside that I showed you. And the Jums had the Penny Van Doe story, which reminded me of the character. It was a very well crafted story. The Dollars and Cents was a giant issue, and it had some good stuff in it. And the Richie Rich issue, you know, it's got that cool cover with Casper on the TV. And it just neat stuff. Yeah, they were fun. And that'll do it for today's episode. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check out the description if you want to trade issues. I have a list of doubles that you can trade for, and my entire collection is posted online so you can see what I have. And yeah, so check that out if you feel like it. And we will see you tomorrow with another episode. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.